it is a variable, and the type of variable, is there any type that I have defined here? No. So as I said, the data types are handled on runtime. Okay, so data types are handled on runtime. So in this variable, I'm storing a data in string data type. Okay, so any value which is being stored as a double quotes, like you can see the double quotes, right? So this values you can basically call it as a string values. So if I'm passing or if I'm storing any value without a double quotes, like directly a variable, so that can be considered as a number data type. So let me tell you what are the different data types in JavaScript. So in JavaScript, there are different data types, like we have a string. So in JavaScript, we have a string data type. Second, we have a number. Third, we have array. So all these guys we will cover, okay? Then after that, we have object. Fifth, we have undefined. And sixth, we have null. So all these are different data types available in the JavaScript. Okay, so only we have very less data types available in the JavaScript. It's not like again your number can be divided in decimal or in 32 in 64. Nothing. There is no such concept in the JavaScript. Okay, all the variables, if you are declaring it as a number which is a floating point or it has a decimal and all, everything will be considered as a number only. Okay, so there is only a single data type for that. It is number. So what about the string? So in string, basically, if you're declaring any value in this way or in single quotes like this, so both these values will be considered as a string values. Okay, so these are the string values. What about the number? Number, like you can just add it as 23. Let's consider. So this is the number which is without double quotes and single quotes. So if you're adding a double quotes here, that will be automatically the data type will be string data type. It won't be called as a number data type. Okay, so 23, it is a number. Again, let's say 23.33 or 22. This is also a number. And again, you can add anything like 0.1. Everything will be the number in JavaScript. What about the array? So any data, if it is getting stored within a square brackets, like you're adding value 1, comma value 2. So any values, if you're storing in the square brackets, that can be called as a array values. So after that, what about the object? So any values, if you're storing in within a curly brackets. Okay. So within a curly brackets, so that can be called as a objects. Okay, so this is the syntax is basically followed for the object. So just remember all this syntax. Okay, in string, we always have to go with double quotes or single quotes. In number, you can directly declare a number values. Don't add any a string name. Okay, you will add a string name and then you will think why it can't be converted to number. So whatever the digits are there, only that we have to use. So in array, values are already, it should be displayed in square brackets. For object, we have to always go with curly brackets. And what about the undefined? So undefined, guys, explicitly we don't have to use it because any variable, if you're declaring, initially the data type for that variable will be undefined. I'll tell you when it's undefined later on, undefined and null. Okay, so let's get start with the actual content now. So let it be. So let me add a name variable. So I have on the top, I have declared this name variable, right? So this is the name variable which I have declared, and it's storing the value as John here. Right? So this John value, it's been this value is already we have stored within a name variable. Now, how to check whether what type of value this variable is holding? So you can simply use type of. A type of, it is a standard keyword or operator, you can say. Within that, you can directly pass variable name. So all this, whatever the names I'm using, all these are standard reserved keywords of JavaScript. And the syntax, the way I'm declaring the syntax and all, everything should be same. Okay, you cannot add O, you cannot make O as a capital. It will not work in that case. So I'm just added a type of method and in which I have passed a name, variable name. So this name I already know it's holding the value in the string format. So this type of is basically used for checking the type of that variable. So type of that variable is string. Can you see? The type of variable is string now. Okay. So so what I can say, the data type for this variable is the string data type. So guys, any questions here? So at least you got it, how to store the variables. Sorry, how to create a variable. So variable we have to create with var keyword followed by variable name. So for again for variable name, what are the naming convention and what are the rules that we need to follow? What are the rules for declaring any variable? So any variable, basically, like you can declare any variable which is starting with letters, which is starting with underscore, and which can start with a dollar sign. Okay, so variable name can always begin with letters, underscore, and dollar sign. So that is the variable name. So let's say if you're creating any variable which is starting with a number, so that variable you cannot call it as a valid variable. Okay, let's say I'm creating a variable like one name. So this is the variable I'm creating. So this variable name is not expected. Okay, because this is an invalid syntax. So variable name can always start with variable name can always start with letter, dollar sign, and underscore. So only these three options are available whenever you are declaring any variable. Second thing, the name that you are providing to the variable, it should follow the camel case naming convention. So what is a camel case, guys? Any idea? What is a camel case? Means I'm creating one variable as a first name. Okay, so this is the first name which I'm variable I'm creating. So how you can declare in camel case, like the first letter of the first word, it should be in small case. The first letter of second word, it should be in capital case. Okay, so this is the camel case. So in earlier, like n was small, but in camel case naming convention, n should be capital. The first letter of second word should be in capital. So this is the camel case naming convention. So any variable name, if you're declaring variable name or function name you're declaring, it should always start with capital case. Sorry, it should always use the camel case naming convention. Okay, so now let me show you like, so any value or any value if you're storing in the variable, how you can store that using a equal to sign. So if I want to create one more variable like first name, so this is my first name variable. So in the first name variable, I want to store John as a value. So I have to give equal to sign. Okay, only one equal to sign, not two equal to sign. If you provide a two equal to sign, then this will not be called as a variable. Okay, this values will not be stored in the inside the variable. Basically, two equal tos, three equal tos is only used for checking the condition, not for storing any values. So always remember that. So guys, any questions here for the variable declaration? So
No.
can we move to first data type now, string? So let's say like what is string now and what are the different methods available in the string? What are the properties? So let's understand that now. So guys, you want to take 5 minutes break here? Shall we take 5 minutes break here? So
Yes.
let's continue at 10:05. Okay, so just be in call, just be on mute. So guys, let's continue now. Okay. So guys, after yeah, let's start with the string data type now. So any variable or anything like any variable which is holding a data in double quotes or single quotes. So that variable you can call it as a string data type. So that variable, it basically it's holding a data which is of string data type. Okay. So now in this case, we have one variable as a first name. So first name, it is a variable which is holding a data in the string data type. So because the data which I have declared, it is declared inside the single quote. Okay. But instead of that, if you're declaring it inside the double quotes in this way, then also you can call it as a string only. Okay, because the data like which is being added or which is being declared inside the double or single quote, that can be called as a string data type in this. So it can be anything like you can store a single value or you can store the entire sentence or entire message also you can add of couple of lines like 2 or 3 or 4 or even 10 lines, whatever you prefer. But that entire code or entire value will be considered as a string data type. OK, so that is the main purpose behind that. So what are the different methods which are available in the string data type? First of all, I'll show you like how the escaping is done within a string data type, and then we can move to the methods which are available for the string data type. Okay, so let's clear this. So let's say I'm creating one um, variable as msg equal to. So this is my variable, and inside that I want to display a message. Okay. Okay, let's consider this is the message I want to display. Now, within this, I want to highlight this two things like John Doe. It has to be highlighted like inside the single quote or double quotes, whatever. Like let's say I want to assign it as a double quotes. Okay, and I will just enter. So can you see like I'm getting this error, unexpected identifier John. So can you tell me like what wrong I have done in the syntax?
We can add the name of candidate is should close there, then another.
Right. See, like outside, I have already declared double quotes. Again, inside double quotes, it's not possible. So instead of that, we have to go with single quotes. Okay, vice versa. Like if outside I'm using double quotes, inside you can only use single quote. But if outside I'm using single quote, then inside you can use double quote. But the same thing you cannot use inside. If you are using, then it will be considered as a then what will happen as soon as it identifies double quote? So from their place, the string will end again. It will consider a new string. OK, so that is the problem. So if I want to achieve the same thing, then outside I have to declare single quotes. Then this will work. OK, so it will work again. If I type MSG, then it will return the value in this format. Now you got it. So again, for double quotes also like so if I want to use single quotes inside, so outside I have to specify double quotes. OK, so this is also one more way to achieve that. So one more way is there like you can also use the backslash here in order to achieve the same thing. So slash you can use as soon as you add a backslash. So again, it will work. So not a problem. So you can try that, try to use a backslash and just try and let's see whether it's working or not. Okay, so like I'll tell you, wait. So let's say if you want to use, you just add a backslash here. So this is a valid way to show that. Okay, so this is also one more way. So if you add a message, so can you see the output now? Now we have the same output in this case also. So if I want to still I have to go with double quotes, then try to use a backslash before that. So slash it would not be added directly. So just for escaping purpose, we have to use that. Okay, so let's go with string methods now. What are the string methods and what is the purpose of that? So basically there are various string methods which are available. So one of the important method in the string is the length. So as a real-time example, so any validation in UI5, if you're adding, you always go with that length because it depends. Like you created one variable, sorry, you created one input field. Let's say, let's take a real-time example. You created one input field, and for that input field, you want to add a validation. Like the length of that entire string, it should not be greater than 20. Okay, so that validation you want to add. So first of all, you want to get the total length. So what is the length of that string? So in this case, let's consider I want to get a total length of this string. So how I can get that? So for that, do you think that we need to write at least 2-3 lines of code to achieve the length? No. In JavaScript, there is a standard property or standard method that is a length. So if you're adding msg dot length in small case, as soon as you type length in small case, it will return a total length of the string value. So the total length of the string value, it is 35, right? So the total length of string value is 35. At least you got it. What is the length here in JavaScript? Okay. So second is, so this is the first method. So second is now how to extract the data means. Now let's consider this is the variable. Now this is the value. So from here, like I want to extract some part of string so that I can store that in another variable. So first of all, from the original string, how to extract some piece of value or some piece of string from the original string, how to do that. So for that, again, we have couple of methods. So we have slice, we have substring, and we have substr. So if I go with a slice here, okay, slice, it is a method of string data type. Slice, it is a method of string data type. But before you call the slice, how you can call that similarly for length, you directly see length, you cannot directly add it length as it is. So it has to be called after the msg. So msg, it is a variable which is of string data type. And whenever you want to call any property or any method, we have to use dot operator here. Okay, so for calling the length, I have used dot. So again, for calling method, again, I have to use dot. So msg is the variable dot. Okay, so dot and then slice, it is a function or you can call it as a method. So within this method, there are two parameters. Okay, one is start and second is end. So what are these parameters? These are nothing but your index numbers. Okay, index number means it should not be in a string. It should be in number format. Means we have to specify from which place you want to extract that string. Let's say I want to start with the first index. So if I say first, comma, what is the end? Let's say I want initial like 10 letters I want. So I'll just specify the end index number like 10. Okay, so can you see what happened now? So it started with first index number. So now what you can say now it should start with T, right? Why it started with H? Because in string or in arrays, index number will always start from 0. Okay, always remember that index number always start with 0, not from 1. So T it is available on 0 index number, H is available on 1 index number, E is available on second index number. So accordingly, like it just extracted the string. So I want to extract a string which is starting with first index number. and which is ending at a 10 index number. So between 1 to 10, whatever the the letters are available, it just extracted that string and it just written. So if you want to store this piece of string, you can also store that in one variable. Like you can add just var name. So this piece of code, so the logic that you have written, msg.slice 1 comma 10. So whatever the value it will return, so that will be stored in this name. So if I type name, you can see that value here. Okay, so at least you got it how to